So today I'm going to be doing the first step of a geode tumbler with the epoxy method. I've already had my epoxy mixed and I'm gonna let it sit for a few more minutes. This is a 32-ounce slim from Hog. You can get these at the stainless depot. I'm using Faux Rizzle epoxy, the Faux Rizzle UV resistant epoxy. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a really thin layer, just like any other glitter base cup or base coat for glitter cups. Just enough to use it as an adhesive for our glitter. I prefer the epoxy method when applying glitter every time. That is how I do it. I've used Mod Podge one other time when doing a different style geode, but I still used epoxy for the first base and then went on top and hand did the geodes instead of the way we're going to do it today. So I'm literally just pulling it across the cup in a super thin layer. This epoxy tends to crystallize a little bit, and it still works okay with the crystals. If I was using this for like an alcohol ink, I'd hit it with the heat gun or the torch to get out those crystals. I want to make sure I get the bottom really good because sometimes, especially chunky glitter, it's harder to get stick. So we have a super thin layer. I'm just gonna go over it, make sure I don't have dry spots. I did not choose to color prep my cup beforehand. Normally I would either prep it white or match the color kind of in a similar shade. Like if I was doing purple glitter, I would put some shade of purple on the bottom as a base. But because I'm using a bunch of different colors, I decided to leave it silver because if I did white, I don't want some spots where the white shows, because when you use chunky, sometimes it doesn't cover well. And I didn't want like a pink to show, but we are gonna be using the majority colors pink. And then I have a lot of epoxy left over. I mixed up 20 and I used about half. And this is a 32-ounce slim, so you really don't need that much glitter, or I mean epoxy. I'm gonna use this though in a mold, so we're not wasting anything. So I'm just gonna watch it spin, make sure I got all the areas, make sure I got my bottom really good. I'm kind of anal about my epoxy coverage. Okay, I'm gonna go grab my glitter. So I'm using up to 5 different colors for my glitter underneath my geode. I'm using this purpley magenta called Wino from FeatherBear BLING. Most of my glitter is from FeatherBear BLING. Shout out to FeatherBear. Rainbow Ice, which I have not used yet, so I'm kind of excited. Roses and Rust, which is like a rose gold chunky. And then I'm using this that I just picked up today from Target. I don't know if you can, it's a pink chunky, it's super chunky. And this is just from Target, it's just like basic craft glitter. It's nothing special, but I wanted some more, it's definitely a different variety than what I have. And then I also have Copper Rainbow from FeatherBear that I might use. I might not. So you can see there's quite a bit of a variety in the chunkiness and color. Make sure I grab a piece of paper to catch my glitter. I think I'm gonna use this one first. This is coming out like quite hard. So I'm just sprinkling this in like random spots. So everything is just kind of gonna be like mixed together. Pour some in my hand to get on the bottom. So for the bags, I'm just using this little spatula to kind of scoop some out and then sprinkle on randomly. And using different textured glitter, like chunky and fine, will help fill in some of the empty spots on the chunky. Normally I try to catch my glitter and save it and pour it back in the container, but because I'm doing such direct spots, I'm just gonna use a paper to catch what I can, and then I'll pour the glitter into my dump cup. The rainbow ice. This is my first time using this color, so I'm super excited. For wino, because it's so dark, I'm going to be extremely careful kind of with how much and where I'm putting it, because I don't want it to take over. I'm going to go back over with the rose gold. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit of copper in it. This is a super, super fine glitter, so if I sprinkle it over some of the chunkies, it's going to fill in some of those gappy areas. now so I can be a little bit more direct with placement. I'm glad I went and got that pink from Target because it's pretty. I've never bought glitter from Target. I don't know if this is showing on the camera, but I'm just kind of picking up from this dump pile and getting the coverage on the bottom of my cup. Okay. So now it is just a super collage of different colors. I'm going to push all of the glitter on the rim off of the rim. You should really use the gloves for this, but to this cup. There's already some that fell in there. I might just use what's on here. That I just kind of keep at my table. It's like unicorns and stuff in it. And I just kind of add leftovers in it all the time. And then I give the leftovers to my kids. I think this time we'll do a mermaid. I actually have all together. Okay, so we didn't waste anything. Now I'm gonna kind of just pat down some of the chunky so that it's easier to cover with epoxy during the next step. Again, probably use gloves for this part. It's easier for me. I'm not allergic to epoxy, even though I know it's still not safe to touch your skin. It's easier for me to pat it all down if I just use my finger. Really makes a difference on the rim and on the bottom. Okay, so that's step one. I let this turn for quite a few hours, and then you can do your flood coat the same day. I probably won't have time, so I probably won't do my flood coat until tomorrow, but that is step one. So step two, I did all of my flood coats. I did 2 flood coats over the glitter, and then I painted over that with a white first I used a Crackle base paint and then a white paint so that it does its crackles, and it kind of didn't turn out too great, but since I'm rubbing most of it off anyways, that's not that big of a deal. I did start rubbing it off, and I am just using, this is nail polish remover. You can use pure acetone if you want. This is just what I have on hand all the time, so, and cotton rounds. And I'm just rubbing off what I want to be exposed. And I'm not quite finished yet, but I will try to put this on here to show you guys what I'm doing. This paint tends to just kind of flake off in places, so you have to be really careful. Choose like right here. See how it's just rubbing off, and just rub it off in a shape you like. The more organic it looks, the better it looks in my opinion. Okay, so now I have it the way I think I like it. If you over fuss on it, you could end up just overdoing it and then really not liking it. So I kind of want to stop now before I fuss with it too much. Because the paint kind of smears when you wipe it off, I'm gonna go back in now with a Q-tip with the nail polish remover on it, and kind of just get in here to make it all shiny again and remove all of the white smeary paint residue. Then after this, I'm going to seal it and then add my decal. I'm gonna seal it because of the way I did the paint. It flakes off really easily, so if I do a decal on it right now, the transfer tape is definitely going to peel off some of my crackle. So I'm going to seal it and then apply the decal. And then I'm gonna apply the last coat of epoxy.